Hey guys, it's Dragon Ball for Life here. Today, I want to talk about Cobra Kai and why I think Robby Keane does not deserve all the hate he gets. Now, I've never really covered Cobra Kai on this channel. I usually just cover Dragon Ball and, comic books and stuff. But the whole point of my channel is to talk about whatever I like, and I absolutely love this, franchise. I think Cobra Kai is one of my favorite shows right now. Out of all the shows, it's the one I followed the most and the one that I'm always the most excited for, like the next season. I can't wait for season 5 when it comes out. I'm gonna watch all the episodes. I'm gonna review it, and then I'm gonna do some discussion videos talking about some theories or where the direction of the show is going. So I do want to let you guys know that I will be making quite a bit of Cobra Kai videos within this week and in the future when the next season does come out. So yeah, stay tuned for that. I hope you guys enjoy with that. Before I get into the video, there is a couple things I want to talk about. One, you guys are going to hear a lot of noises outside. It's my neighbors are having construction on their patio, so you're going to hear a lot of drilling and hammering, so sorry for that. Two, I don't know what's going to happen with my channel. I do have 2 copyright strikes, but I did delete all the reaction videos, the playlist for it, so hopefully there shouldn't be too much of a problem with that. And if there is, then I will just make my second channel, like I said. And if you guys want to find out more about the updates and what's going to happen, go check my Twitter. Here's the handle. You can go follow it. And yeah, that's that. So let's get now into the episode, this video itself. Now, I did this video a couple of times. One I did was almost going to hit like the 30-minute mark. I want to make this one shorter, so I'm going to be doing multiple different videos. I did want to talk about the Cobra Kai fan base as a whole with this, but I felt like that was going to go on too long. So I'm just going to specifically talk about Robby Keane and why I feel like the hatred for him is just not necessary. I feel like it's... look, you can hate on the character, you don't have to love the characters, but for me personally, I just feel like, so for me, I just don't feel like it's reasonable to hate him to the extent that a lot of people do. Personally, I just, like, I get it, you don't have to like a character, you don't have to love him, you can hate any character you want, but I just feel like the reasons for hating him is kind of outlandish in my opinion. So let's talk about that. Now, for me to, talk about why people hate, Robby, I need to go throughout the whole history of the Cobra Kai show from season 1 to now season 4, and, some of the stuff that people hate about him. Personally, I think the main reason that people hate him is simply the fact that he is he's the enemy and rival of Miguel, the main character, and I guess you can kind of say he's the antagonist, even though he's technically not evil most of the part, but since he's the opposition to Miguel, he could be considered, he would be considered as the exact opposite. I lost the word. I just said it earlier and I forgot it. Yeah, but I get that aspect, but I feel like when people look at it that perspective, they're just judging because they like a character and they're like, well, I like this character and that character is against my character, so I hate them. And it's just like, I think that's a very ridiculous reason to not like a character simply because you like the main character and this character is going against the main character, so I hate this character. That's just a lazy way of thinking about it. And also, I think the other big reason is the fact that Johnny is one of the fan favorites. He's one of those characters that, when it first came out, the Cobra Kai movie, not Cobra Kai, the Karate Kid movies, he was looked at as the obvious bad guy and Daniel was looked at as the hero. But as time progressed, a lot of people got more cynical and started thinking, you know what? Maybe Daniel's not that good guy. Maybe Johnny was the good guy and Daniel was the aggressor, which isn't true. There's people that made videos about it. I just don't agree with it. Yes, is, Daniel not perfect? No character is. Nobody is. That's not the point. You don't have to be perfect to be the good person. Let's be honest. Johnny was definitely the aggressor in the first movie, but the fan base doesn't care. People don't really care about that. They just love him, and they got to the point where they love him so much that if anybody goes against him, they consider that person as a horrible person. And that's where Robby comes into play, because Robby is the son of, Johnny, but he absolutely hates Johnny. He wants to get revenge against his dad. He's very disrespectful towards his dad. He doesn't see his dad not only as his father figure, but as his father actually, but he also doesn't respect his father at all, which a lot of people, it pisses off a lot of people because they love Johnny, they love Miguel, and he's against them, like, how dare he do this? But if you look at what he's gone through and what his position in life, and more about his characterization, you will find that not only is he more more deep and more thought provoking, but also you would understand that it isn't reasonable. So let's get to the Johnny, his situation. A lot of people are like us, why can't he just accept Johnny? Because the thing that's happening in the show is Johnny abandoned Robby as a kid, and he never came back into his life until he got 16. And then now he's trying to integrate himself back into his life. And he's trying to make amends, and that's an admirable thing. But for some people, when you abandon them, especially for that long, it's hard for them to forgive you, even if you are seriously trying to make up for them. But let's be honest, in real life, that's just how it is. If you abandon, if you're a father or a parent and you abandon your child and come back later on in their life, there's only two ways it can end out. Either one, they see you as they want to see their parents so badly that they view as not the bad person, like, oh, maybe they had a reason or that. Or they have the opposite reaction, like Robby, where they're mad and like, they left me, they banned me, I don't give a shit about them, they don't care about me and stuff like that, which I think is the more realistic and more logical way of thinking. Because if you are a parent and you leave your kid, you can't expect them to just accept you right away. You should expect them to be angry about it. So when I see people getting mad at him, like, why doesn't he just accept Johnny? I'm just like, well, Johnny literally abandoned for 16 years, never showed up in his life, and he just randomly came in now. It's gonna be hard to amend that. Like, I don't know why people just can't understand that. Maybe some people the people that are watching this are just suburban white people, no offense, but suburban people who live in a perfect family where their dads are always there. But people who do live in broken homes without their parents, and especially in his case where not only he lived with that, but he lived with a mom who's an addict, and she had the whole problem with bringing guys over, and she's just very immature and irresponsible. You can see where he comes from, but at least he loves his mom because she was there for him. That's all he wanted. And the fact that Johnny didn't stay there for him, you can see why he's mad. So I don't know why people are acting like it's just so outlandish. It's like, are you kidding me? His dad literally abandoned him. You want him to just have Johnny come back to his life, like, hey son, I know I left you, but hey, I want to make amends. And he should just accept it? No, he has every right to be mad. I don't know why people are acting like that's weird. And I know he's putting an effort into it, but let's be honest. The first thing he saw when because when he was dealing with this whole mom situation, and they told him he should probably live with his dad, he was like, no, I don't want to do that. But then he's like, you know what? Maybe it would be a good idea to go live with my dad. And he was willing to, accept him back. But as soon as he went back, he sees this guy hugging another kid and acting like a father figure to him. And that pissed him off to the point where he's like, you know what? Screw it. I don't want that. I'm going to just be going back and I'm not going to mess with him. And some of you guys will be like, well, he came in the wrong time, just assume things. And I agree. But that was the whole point of the scene, was supposed to be that. And to be honest, it doesn't matter because he came there for him. And the fact that he sees him hug another kid and showing him more love than he ever showed him, you can't be surprised that he's going to be pissed. Like, he abandoned him and now he's hanging out with some other person. It's like, so you didn't care about me enough to, come to me, but now you're dealing with somebody else. So I get that. And yeah, you should, some people are like, well, you should have just gone up to him, like, just shut up. That's the stupidest thing ever. Because if you were in that situation and you saw that, you would be pissed too. If your father abandoned you for that long, and now you're coming back to make amends with him, and you see him hugging some other kid, and being friendly with him and being fatherly with him, you would be pissed too. You'd just be like, oh well, maybe it's just a misunderstanding. Like, that's not how it works. That's not reality. That's the bias coming in people's heads. Like, I love Johnny, and he should just accept him. No. He has every right to be mad at him. Obviously, I think him and Johnny should work things together and be together. Obviously, in the end of season 4, that happens, and I love that. But it makes sense for him not to like it. Nobody can flag him for that. So I don't get that. He felt that way. So he had multiple instances like that, like in the prison scene, where he was actually hoping his dad would come, and he was happy that his dad was going to come and see him and visit him. But then he left to deal with Miguel in the hospital and stuff. And I know a lot of people say, well, Miguel was in the hospital and stuff. Here's the thing: he had his mom and his grandma there. They asked him to pray with him. All he could have simply said is like, yeah, sorry, I would stay, but my son, I have to go visit my son in juvie and stuff. I want to go see him, but when I come back, I'll do this and that. Because he spent already enough time with him. He just needed one day with him. And he already had these problems with his dad leaving him, and he had kind of he on one side he was excited and he was happy that his dad was coming, but the other side he was kind of is skeptical because he's already dealt with this a lot in his life, and the fact that he didn't show up just further proved it. And the only person that was there for him was the bad guy, John Kreese, who was putting even more venom into his head. But then again, Johnny dropped the ball, and yes, he tried to talk to him in the soup kitchen part, but at that point the person's already pissed. And I get it, you know, he was trying to handle it best, but let's be honest, he's still a kid. He's 16. A lot of kids that age are very irrational, and the fact that he left him once again doesn't really bode well for him. So let's be honest, Johnny really fucked up on that case. And people saying, well, Miguel, this, it doesn't matter. He could have simply just explained it to them. He could have just told them, I'm sorry, I really wanted to have my own kid. Like, at that point, then it would be like, Carmen seems like a piece of shit because she's like, oh, stay for my kid and don't go see your own kid. And it's like, you can't do that. But I don't think that's the type of person Carmen is. I just feel like Johnny didn't even explain to her. If he did, she would have been probably like, oh, okay, it's fine, just go. You done enough for him. But no, he didn't give a shit. And then when he failed, he was like, I'm coming back for, Miguel. And when even Kreese was talking to him about Robby, he was only mentioning Miguel. When he was talking about, like, you know, bringing the boy back, he was talking about Robby. He was not talking about Miguel. He was thinking about Miguel the entire time. So it's just like, you know, obviously he does love him more because of, you know, season 4, what happened and that. But from what we've seen him show, he's shown more care for, you know, Miguel. So that case, I don't get it. Like I said, there's a lot of back and forth. I do think they should be together, but I see his point, and I think people that hate on him simply for that are just being ridiculous. Now let's get into the whole situation with Miguel and who's more the right or wrong. Let's go through each, situation. First, let's go over the first thing that pissed people off about him when he was trying to, you know, move on to, like, you know, get with Sam and, you know, trying to make a move on her. Here's the thing. When he did that, he didn't know she was in a relationship. He didn't know she had a boyfriend, so you can't really flag him for that. Once when he did find out, he didn't try to advance on her anymore. So once again, you can't blame him for that. And some people are like, well, he was holding her hand in the party and stuff like that. There's a couple of reasons to that. People like to ignore what happened, but him coming there, you know, dealing with that situation, he literally himself stated, oh, this is your boyfriend. Why the hell would she bring another guy to a party that she knows her boyfriend is literally there? And why the hell would this guy say, oh, this is your boyfriend, if she's going to be cheating on him? It makes no sense. It was obviously just somebody she knew. And obviously some people say, well, he's drunk. I'll get into that later. But that case, I don't know why people are mad at him for that. And then the whole holding her hand, she was falling. He was trying to hold her up. He was just trying to be nice. I know a lot of people are like, well, I see this way. And when I hear guys talk like that, or people talk, it's usually the guys that hear talk like that. I'm just like, you know, you kind of sound... And I hate using this word, but you kind of sound like an incel. You're having an incel reaction, like, oh my god, she's around another man, she shouldn't be doing that. She's doing this. Like, he was just helping her out. He literally stated that you're her boyfriend. Why would she come to the party? It makes no sense. So that, I did not understand the reason to hate him on that, for that, and acting like, oh, that's justified because he was holding her up. Like, he wasn't like walking with her just hand by hand naturally. She was falling and he was trying to, hold her from falling. So yeah, I think that was just, that was just the fan base projecting their own feelings, like, oh, I've dealt with a girl like this. Like, here's the thing, it's fiction, first of all. Second of all, it doesn't matter if you dealt with it. We saw what happened in this instance, and there was nothing to it, okay? So stop overreacting. And then, sorry for that. And then the whole, him and Miguel situation, where Miguel was mad. People saying, well, when he hit her, it was an accident. He was drunk. You can't blame him for that. He was drunk for that. And no, I don't agree with that. I hate that argument that people make. So people can act like as much of an asshole, as rude and disrespectful, as racist or ignorant as possible, simply because they're drunk. If they're drunk, that gets rid of any actions of their own. That is a BS excuse, and I'm sick and tired of hearing people say that. And it's kind of ironic people are saying that still, especially due to the whole Mike Tyson situation on the airplane, where he was dealing with a passenger who was drunk, obviously, and he was antagonizing him and pissing him off more and more and more, to the point where Mike Tyson was like, hey, fuck it, I'm gonna just snap. And he snapped and started hitting the shit out of him. And guess what? Nobody was saying Mike Tyson was in the wrong. They were saying the guy was in the wrong. Even though the guy was drunk and everybody was like, yeah, he was drunk, they were still blaming him. Guess why? Because just because you're drunk does not give you the right to act however you want. That is just an excuse that a lot of people make. So yeah, was he drunk? Yeah, but that's not an excuse for him to act the way. And even if, let's say, he wasn't drunk, he was in the point where he was so mad and aggressive that even if he wasn't drunk, I'm pretty sure he would start swinging on Robby, and Robby had every right to get mad and get defensive. So it's like, yeah, I can't say that was Robby's fault. That was more Miguel's fault. And yeah, someone would say, well, he was mad about the whole Samantha situation, saying, "Oh, he's just a friend," and hanging out with him there and his family, and then her not introducing that. But here's the thing: he was seeing that all wrong, and you guys know. Obviously, I'm not mad at Miguel for that, but I'm mad at the fan base for knowing that. You guys know it, and you're still mad at Robby for that, or saying, Samantha is this and that. Like, here's the thing. First of all, her dad didn't want that happening. If her dad didn't have such a problem, she wouldn't have had a problem with telling him, "Oh yeah, this is my boyfriend," or showing Miguel. But the fact that he had that whole vendetta, that was the situation. So if anybody should be mad at, it's him. It's Daniel and his, his own bias. Instead of hating on her for, being scared. She's a teenager. She makes dumb mistakes. But also, it's like, if you were in the same situation, you would have probably done the same thing. So that I can't flag her for that. People saying, why didn't you just message her and stuff? Remember, she was grounded. She did try to do it. She got caught and she got in trouble for that. So yeah, you can't be mad at her for that. That's not her fault once again. She couldn't really do anything about that. So there's that. Then let's get into the scenes after that. Because after that, I would say season 1 towards the ending, there was nothing that made people, like, I heard say anything negative about Robby. Even in the tournament, which I will talk about the tournament and my problem with the whole defense of what happened with Robby and Miguel in that situation. But I'm going to skip that because it has really nothing to do with the hatred towards Robby. Let's get into the next one, where in season 2, Cobra Kai attacks the Miyagi dojo. They destroy it, and then they take what's his name, Mr. Miyagi's Medal of Honor, and once when Miguel finds this, he returns it back to Robby because he comes to the door, and then he gives it. Robby lies to her and says, "Oh, he found it there." Now this one, I 100% agree. Yes, this was wrong. I agree that Robby messed up here. I did not like when he did this. And when I saw this, I was like, man, I root for you. I agree with you. A lot of people hate on you. I don't. I like you as a character. But that, I was like, yeah, that's wrong. Because Miguel was being the bigger man. He admitted that he gave it back, and he was being honest, and he was being sincere. So the fact that he did that was kind of messed up. So I did not like that. So I do agree with you guys on that point. But it isn't the worst thing. Yeah, did he lie and stuff? But he didn't make Miguel try to make him look bad. It's just that he didn't want to make him look good because, she was her former boyfriend, and, she thought badly about him, like, oh, he's a bad guy now. So if she saw that, he got scared. Once again, I don't think it was right, but I can kind of see his point, and I don't think it's too vindictive, but I do agree that it was wrong. Now, let's get to the school fight. I will say, here's the thing about the Medal of Honor, final thing about it, he does tell Sam anyway, so yeah, that's fine. The school fight stuff, this is where the biggest amount of hate comes from Robby. But let's be honest, after season 1, people already hated him, so I just feel like they were gonna hate on him no matter what. But the whole school fight scene with him paralyzing Miguel, which was messed up. But let's get into a couple of things. A lot of people are like, well, here's the thing, Miguel showed him mercy, and he was a coward, he attacked him, and then he launched him off. Yes, I do think what he did was wrong, but I think a lot of people misconstrued what happened to make it sound like he's just some vindictive person. They're saying, well, he tried to kill him. Here's the thing, no, he did not. Yes, did he put him in a situation where he could have died and severely got injured? Yes, 100%. But his point was not to kill him. He was just trying to hurt him. Yes, was it wrong for him to attack him after the other guy showed mercy? But let's get into what happened. First, when the fight was happening, and he found out that his own girlfriend cheated on him with Miguel, he was disheartened, obviously. And in that situation, if you were a guy and you found out your girl that, you would be pissed off at the other guy, especially if you and that guy already had problems. So you would want to get revenge against him. But what he did was, when he saw Tori and her fighting, he stepped in and tried to stop him and like, hey guys, stop fighting. We shouldn't be doing this. And Miguel sees this and he attacks him. Some people make argument, well, Miguel didn't know that he was trying to stop the fight, but he did hear him literally yelling out, stop it. So yeah, I don't care. Miguel was blinded by his rage. So if you want to fault, Robby for being blinded by his rage, you have to fault also Miguel for being blinded by his rage and acting that way. So yeah, that was also, Miguel's fault. He misinterpreted that, and he just acted upon it in an aggressive way. So that happened. Then they get into a fight, and then people forget what led up to building up his anger. For one, not only did this guy kiss his girl, two, this guy started attacking him after he tried to stop the fighting and try to try to be peaceful. Three, he got some of his guys to jump in because throughout the fight, Robby was not just fighting Miguel. Miguel was only fighting really him, but he was fighting multiple Cobra Kai guys, so he was getting even more pissed. And then he's talking mad shit. He's saying, "Oh, she likes me more than you. Dad taught me that." So basically, now he's saying your girl doesn't love you. She likes me, and she's only with you for whatever reason. And now he's saying that also your dad taught me this, and he's my mentor and stuff like that, and he cares more about me. So he was talking shit about him, hitting stuff that really, that really was like deep to him and really meant something to him. So like stuff that were very personal. And then he gets into all this fight and beat him up. And then after all that, he's like, "I'm sorry." Which, like I said, it was a good thing he did right there. But once again, I can't be too mad at Robby for getting mad at that and not just accepting it. Because let's be honest, let's think logically. You're in this same situation. Let's put you in a situation. You're this guy that you don't like. He made out with your own girlfriend. You're trying to stop a fight. Now he's fighting you when you're just trying to, make things peaceful. He's getting his other guys to attack you, and you're gonna have to fend them off. Now he's talking shit about you, saying that he's taking your girl and that she's not yours, she's mine, she doesn't love you. And then he's also talking shit about how your dad cares about me more, and your dad's on my side and whatever. Also, you had already the problems with him, having more of a connection with his own dad, having that, and then him beating you up, putting you on the ground, and then saying sorry. Would you accept it? No, you wouldn't. Let's be honest. These same people that do this, because these are the guys that are like, if somebody, was around my girl like this, or if I saw a guy around my girl like this, I would have beat his ass with the whole, Robby situation with Sam. So if you guys act that way, you would 100, and I mean 100%, be so pissed off if you went through this. Let's be honest. Let's be logical. If I was in that same situation, I would have probably lost my shit too. I'm like, oh, hell no. You can't just do all this shit and now say you're sorry or show mercy. I don't give a fuck. You did all this shit. Now I'm going to kick your ass. So let's be honest. You guys would have done the same thing. Obviously, him kicking him over the rail was bad, but I think people saying, oh, he was trying to kill him is ridiculous. No, he was not. He wasn't even trying to start a fight in the first place. Miguel led on to it. And yes, he was trying to kick him, but I don't think he was trying to kick him over the rail. If, let's say, they designed it in a way where they were just on the ground, Robby would have done the same thing. He would have just kicked him and stuff and probably just knocked him on the ground. He was not trying to kill him. If anybody was trying to kill anybody, it was Tori trying to kill Sam. And it's funny because people still love Tori. It's like, unlike Tori, she didn't do it. Yeah, because Sam stopped her. If Sam didn't stop her from cutting the thing, she would have probably either seriously killed her or seriously injured her. She had a big ass cut on her arm. So she was legit trying to kill her and showed her intentions there. Yet people are not mad at Tori for legit trying to kill Sam. But the fact that, Robby wasn't trying to do intentionally, but trying to just hurt him and ended up doing that, they're saying, well, he tried to kill her. Here's the thing. Tori actually tried to kill her. The only thing is she failed. If she succeeded, she probably would have. Robby, on the other hand, he didn't, that wasn't his case. If, let's say, Robby did get the upper hand, instead of it was like Miguel on top of him with like the whole arm thing, Robby probably would have just knocked him out. He wouldn't have done that. Let's be honest. He didn't show any intentions to seriously injure the guy or murder him. So that I just think is ridiculous. And like I said, if you're going to flag him for that, then Tori deserves 100% hate. You can't just be like, oh, I hate this guy for trying to kill him. Bitch, she literally tried to kill her and pulled out a sharp object as a weapon to hit her. So don't make this bullshit. I hate that. I hate that argument. Yes, what he did was wrong, but let's be honest. In the heat of the moment, you would have done the same thing. Personally, if that was me, I would have done the same shit. I'm like, oh, mercy, fuck that. No, you did too much to this point for me to forgive you. And it's like, especially when you're in the heat of the battle, it's one thing if like somebody was holding him back and then, sat him down and then, like he had time to cool off. Then it would have made sense like of, let's say he attacked him after having time to cool off, but he didn't have any time to cool off. He just stopped for a couple seconds, said it, and then let go. So obviously that happened. Once again, like I said, it was not intentional. If you're going to blame Tori too, then. That's not fair. And then, we get to the next season where he's, on the run, he's in juvie. He even admits that he almost killed him and he felt bad, which it shows that he was not intentionally trying to do that. Whereas Tori, even after that, let's be honest, she didn't say anything like I'm sorry or feel any sympathy. I mean, in season 3, she legit was trying to beat her ass the entire time. She got into the dojo, tried to use weapons like nunchucks and stuff. She was legit trying to hurt her with weapons again. So once again, if you hate Robby for doing that, then you should absolutely hate her, because she not only showed no sort of remorse for trying to kill her, but she attacked her again and tried to injure her. And then she also had her goons attack Miguel, who just came back from the hospital with a back injury. So yeah, I just feel like there's bias here, definitely. So let's go into that. He had the whole situation with Juvie. He comes out. He almost gets into an altercation with him and tries to fight him, and this pissed off a lot of people, saying, "Oh, how dare he try to hit him and stuff." And that, I do get the point, because you already put him in the hospital and now you're trying to assault the guy again. But once again, what happened in the situation was he got mad. He came back from prison. I mean juvie. He came back from there. She didn't contact him while he was in juvie. He comes back to see her with the same guy that not only did she cheat on him with kissing, but the guy that was her ex-boyfriend, make in a position where she's looking at him and making googly eyes at him and showcasing like she was about to kiss him. It's understandable why he would be pissed. And at that moment, he wasn't even talking to her. He was talking to him. He was talking to her. He was like, "What the hell?" He was getting mad. And now Miguel steps in the way and he tries to start some shit. And I know some of you are going to say, well, he was like, oh, he was just looking out for her because he was mad. But let's be honest, Robby was not going to hit her. Robby was just going to be mad, yell, say his piece, and then walk off. But Miguel escalated the situation even worse. And then they got into a tussle. Once again, I do not agree with him hitting him after, especially the injury stuff. But also Miguel should have not got into the way. It's not like he would have hit Sam at all. He would have just probably got mad, got up in her face, got angry, yelled, or been like, "How dare you," this and that, and then left. So him coming in there white knighting was not necessary. And Sam, she's the real problem in that one. She's a bitch for that. She she's like, "Well, I tried to contact you. You didn't do this." Yeah, he's in juvie. It will be obviously harder for him to get in contact with you on social media than you with him. And if that's the case, why don't you just visit him in the prison? You could have just gone there. You went 2 hours away to visit Aisha in a different... in season 4, she literally drove 2 hours away just to meet Aisha, to talk to her about her situation with Tori. But she can't even go a bit down to the police station to be like, "Hey, I want to visit this guy." That part just made no sense to me. I just felt it was ridiculous. It was kind of dumb. So yeah, we had that whole situation with her, which I did not like, and then her staring at him. I'm not gonna be too mad at Miguel. I do think he shouldn't have butted in, which is funny because a lot of people got mad at Daniel for butting in with Johnny, even though Johnny was being hell aggressive. He smashed the boombox, and on top of that, he was being nice to Johnny and he got physical. Whereas in this case, Miguel would look like he was ready to throw hands. So it's like I said, it's just a lot of bias and hypocrisy in the fan base. When the characters they like do some shit wrong, they make defense for them. When there's a character they don't like that do some shit wrong, they just attack them and say, "Yep, they're this." Even when there's other characters who've done the exact same thing. So that happened. Also, let's be honest, if he didn't show up, they would have definitely kissed each other. They would have kissed each other, and so he had every right to do that. It's not like he just was misinterpreting what he saw. It was legit going to happen, and it was proven by the next episode anyway. So that instance, I do think he shouldn't have came off that aggressively, but you can see the whole situation with the fact that she was about to make out with the guy that she already cheated on him with, and it was her ex, which any of you guys would have agreed that that's messed up. So yeah, I can understand. And then the next episode, they're literally making out. They literally start making out. So it's like, she was legit going to cheat on him. Like I said, if you're going to be mad at anybody, actually be mad at him too, but if you're going to be mad at anybody, be mad at Sam. Sam is still in a relationship with this guy. At least at that point, Miguel was not in a relationship with Tori. He was free, so it makes sense. But she was still in a relationship with that guy. She didn't break it up with him, and she was trying to act like, oh you don't get mad. Like, bitch, you were about to kiss the guy, and then you're making out with him in the next episode, showcasing that you were going to do it anyway. So like he had every right to be pissed off at you. You can't be like, why are you mad, bitch? You're literally cheating on him. Like he had every right to be mad at you. So it's like it's definitely her fault in that part, but it's also Miguel's fault for once again he already kissed her when he was sober, so that was fucked up that she was in a relationship, and then he tried to do it again. He was about to do it again, even though he was in prison. Obviously, he has more reason to not care because he put him in the hospital, so he had reason to be mad at him. But still, that's messed up. So that happened. I think Robby had every right to be mad, and then Robby leaves, and season 3 he doesn't really do anything else that much after that. He just joins Cobra Kai. A lot of people do get mad that he joined him. I get that, but then again, Kreese was only there for him. His dad didn't show up. Daniel here, he had the problem with the betraying thing. I do think that Daniel didn't do anything wrong by turning him in. I do think, well, I would say the way he did it was wrong. Instead of just calling the cops behind his back and telling him, oh, you should turn yourself in, and then just having the cops show up there, I think he should have convinced him first to turn himself in, and then took him to the police instead of just calling the police in the middle of it. So he felt kind of betrayed. I think that would have been better. Yeah. So that there wasn't really that much. I think it was just him joining Cobra Kai, but I mean, they didn't care when the rest of the characters were Cobra Kai and aggressive, so I don't know why they'll care this time. And then we got to season 4, where I think the only scene where I saw with Robby that a lot of people had his disdain for him was literally the scene where they're getting into arguments with each other, and Rob's like, "Yeah, I hurt your back. I crippled you. I could do it again or whatever." That one 100% I think was wrong. He should have not done that. Yes, I get he's mad. Yes, I get he has his problems. But Yuri did something wrong by putting him in the hospital. And you could have killed him, and now you're just talking shit. I did not like that. I think that was messed up. But yeah, as a whole, I think that when you look at the whole story as a whole, I don't think Robby was 100% in the wrong. I don't think he was 100% in the right either. I do not like what he did with the Medal of Honor. I did not like him talking shit to him. Obviously, him kicking him off the rail was wrong. But let's be honest, a lot of stuff. Miguel was not being mature. People saying Miguel's the most mature. No, he's not. He acts very immature a lot of times. He thinks irrationally, and he just jumps into conclusions when he does stuff. And he's kind of petty. Especially in season 1, he was being a petty bitch with, having Johnny as his dad, and then doing, having Johnny as his dad. And then season 2, he was even more of a petty bitch with the whole thing until the ending. And season 3, he was, it was mostly him building back up. They barely met with each other, him and Robby until towards the ending. But yeah, as a whole, like I said, you cannot like Robby. You don't have to like him. You can call out his problems, but I just think that he isn't as bad as a lot of people try to make him out to be. I think a lot of people just over exaggerated because they love Miguel more than Robby. Personally, I think Robby's more deep with his issues, because Miguel's issues is simply, I was a kid that was bullied. Now I know how to fight, and I came a little more aggressive. Now I need to be taught the right way. And it's like all the Cobra Kai kids have that same story. Whereas, his abandonment issues, though it's not completely unique because Johnny has that problem, Daniel has a problem, and Miguel has a problem, but he has additional stuff with a broken home with the bad mom and, with the whole rivalry and stuff, and then, Sam, and then going to juvie. He's having a lot of stuff. I think he's more interesting, especially with the story arcs that he's going through. So, yeah. Stop with the unreasonable Robby hate. I'm sick and tired of seeing it. If I do see people hate on him, I will call you out, because I think it's kind of bullshit that people hate on him for that. And people saying, he tried to kill him. Well, then you should feel the same way about Tori. And like I said, he wasn't trying to do that intentionally. Though, after what he gave him Shown Mercy, that was messed up. But like I said, most of us would have done the same thing. Me, definitely, I'm a hothead. I would have kicked his ass. I would have beat the shit out of him. I would have tried not to hit him off the rail, but I would have beat the shit out of him and want to knock him out after that. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. You showing me mercy, bro. You push the situation too far. How do you say? Not accelerated, but whatever. He pushed the situation too much to the point where it reached his boiling point, and now he wants to make amends. You should have done that way before you got me on the ground. That was just dumb. So yeah, in the end of the day, we all have our own opinions, whatever. But I just feel like the Robby hate is just very unnecessary. And if you disagree with me, go ahead, say whatever you want. But I just feel like a lot of the arguments people make are hypocritical, and these are just my points on it. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I will be making more Cobra Kai videos, so if you like this video, I'm going to be making at least, I I'm going to be making quite a bit this week of Cobra Kai because I think there's a lot of topics I want to talk about. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed and check out some of my other videos.